Okay, so I know a lot of you out there are looking to really step up your game when it comes to talking about movies and TV shows in English.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Like, it's such a great way to connect with people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, I feel like if you're learning English or if you're in a situation where you're using English as a second language,
Absolutely.
it can be kind of a nice common ground to kind of break the ice.
For sure. And, it's something that everybody can relate to.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't love a good movie or TV show?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's a natural conversation starter, and it gives you a chance to, show off your vocabulary and your fluency.
Right, exactly. And,
Yeah.
you can impress your friends with your knowledge of film.
For sure.
So we've got a ton of resources that we're going to be diving into in this deep dive, and I'm really excited to share them with you.
Yeah, me too. And I think one of the coolest things about movies and TV shows is that they're like this universal language.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, they can transcend cultural barriers.
Yeah.
And you can talk about them with people from all over the world.
Oh, that's so true.
And it's a great way to stay up to date on pop culture and trends.
Absolutely.
But, even beyond that, I think it's just a fantastic way to connect with people on a deeper level.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like when you find someone who shares your love for a certain genre or director, it's like this instant bond.
Totally.
And it can lead to some really interesting and insightful conversations.
That's so true. And, I find myself doing that all the time, even if I meet someone who I don't have a ton in common with.
Yeah.
If we discover a shared love of some obscure film.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, now we're friends.
Exactly.
So where should we start with this whole talking about movies in English then?
Well, I think one of the first things is building up that vocabulary.
Right, yeah, because I feel like I get stuck in a rut of saying oh, that was good or that was bad.
Sure.
And I really want to be able to express myself with, more nuance.
Absolutely. And, there's so many great words and phrases out there that can help you do that.
Right.
So instead of just saying I like that movie, you can say, I'm a huge fan of that genre.
Okay.
Or the plot was so captivating, I couldn't tear my eyes away.
Okay. Genre and plot. Those are good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I hear those words all the time, but I probably don't use them myself as much as I could.
Right. And that's totally normal.
Yeah.
But the more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Okay. So it's like having the right tools for the job.
Exactly.
Like if you're going to build a house, you need more than just a hammer, right?
Exactly. And in this case, words are your tools.
I like that.
So the more words you have in your toolbox, the better equipped you'll be to express yourself.
So what other tools should we be adding to our conversational toolbox?
Well, let's see. Another important one is binge watch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who hasn't binge watched their favorite show, right?
Guilty as charged.
So, instead of just saying I watched a lot of episodes, you can say I totally binge watched that entire series last weekend.
Okay. Binge watch.
Yeah.
Definitely adding that one to my list.
And you know what else can really make your conversation stand out?
What's that?
Active listening.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's so important to actually engage with the other person and show that you're interested in what they have to say.
Right. Like instead of just nodding along,
Exactly.
you actually want to ask questions and really delve into their thoughts.
For sure. And asking about someone's favorite movies or TV shows is a great way to show that you care about them.
That's such a good point.
It shows that you're interested in their tastes and preferences.
Right.
And it can lead to some really fun and engaging conversations.
I'm definitely guilty of just passively nodding along sometimes.
Well, we all do it.
Yeah.
But being more intentional about active listening can make a huge difference.
Okay. I'm going to try to be better about that.
I think we all should.
I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
There's so much more to uncover.
So much more to talk about.
So stay tuned because we're about to dive even deeper into this fascinating world of talking about movies and TV in English.
We'll be right back after a short break. One thing that I was thinking about as we were talking about vocabulary is how, the words we choose can really, make a difference in how we sound when we're talking about movies.
Oh, for sure.
Like you mentioned twists and turns earlier.
Yeah.
It just, instantly makes a movie sound more exciting.
Right. It paints a picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a key skill if you want to have those, really engaging conversations about films.
So how do we get better at that? Are there any specific things we can do to, make our movie descriptions more vivid?
Absolutely. One technique is to focus on sensory details.
Okay.
So instead of just saying, the acting was great, you could describe the actors' expressions or their tone of voice.
Oh, I see.
You could say something like, The lead actor's eyes, like, conveyed so much emotion, I could practically feel his pain.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
It's about, like, bringing the movie to life for the person you're talking to.
And you know what I think something I struggle with sometimes, especially when I'm speaking English?
Sure.
It's like I get so excited to share what I've seen, but I don't always know how to describe it in a way that really captures like the essence of the movie.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to, take your time and think about the words that you want to use.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice.
And don't be afraid to, like, use your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Body language can be a huge help.
Okay.
Like, if you're talking about a scene that was really intense, use your hands to emphasize the action.
Right.
Or if it was something, really heartwarming, put your hand over your heart.
I like that.
It can help you, like, connect with the other person on a deeper level.
Okay, so we've talked about vocabulary, active listening, descriptive language. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, one thing that can be a bit tricky is navigating cultural differences.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that.
Like, humor can be very culturally specific.
Oh, yeah.
A joke that might be hilarious in one culture could, like, totally fall flat in another.
For sure.
And the same goes for, like, movie references.
Right, like what might be considered a classic in one country could be a completely unknown in another.
Exactly.
I've definitely had those moments where I've referenced a movie and the person I'm talking to has no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, for sure.
It's a little awkward.
It can be. So it's good to, like, be mindful of those differences.
Okay.
And, maybe briefly explain the premise of the movie if you think the other person might not be familiar with it.
That makes sense.
It's about finding those, like, universal themes that everyone can relate to.
So even if someone hasn't seen the exact same movies as you can still connect with them on a deeper level by talking about those broader themes.
Exactly. Like love, loss, redemption.
Those are things that everyone experiences regardless of their culture.
Exactly. So, focus on those things and you'll be able to have a more meaningful conversation.
Okay, we've covered a lot of great stuff so far.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one big elephant in the room we haven't talked about yet.
Ooh.
Spoilers.
Ah, yes. The dreaded spoiler alert.
I am so paranoid about accidentally spoiling a movie for someone.
It's definitely something to be careful about.
It feels like, the ultimate movie sin.
Right. But luckily, there are a few things you can do to, like, avoid those awkward spoiler moments.
Okay, tell me everything.
The most important thing is to simply ask before you reveal any plot details.
Right, just like check in with the person you're talking to.
Yeah, like, have you seen this yet? Or are you okay with spoilers?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And even if they say they're okay with spoilers, I'd still be cautious.
Okay.
Maybe start with a general overview of the movie.
So, like, it's a sci-fi movie about a group of astronauts, but don't give away the ending.
Exactly. And then, you can gauge their interest and see if they want to hear more.
I like that, like a slow release spoiler.
And remember, even if you accidentally let a spoiler slip, don't panic.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I would want to, like, disappear.
It happens.
Yeah.
Just apologize sincerely and move on.
Okay.
Most people will understand that it was an honest mistake.
Phew, okay.
Speaking of mistakes, another thing to be mindful of is, how you express your opinions.
Oh, right.
Like, it's okay to not like a movie,
Sure.
but you don't want to, like, bash it or be overly critical.
Right, because everyone has different tastes.
Exactly. And you want to be respectful of that.
So how do you, like, find that balance?
Well, one tip is to focus on the aspects of the movie that you did enjoy,
Okay.
even if you didn't love the film as a whole.
So, like, maybe you thought the soundtrack was amazing?
Exactly. Or the cinematography was stunning.
Yeah. It's like finding the silver lining.
Right. And even when you're talking about things you didn't like, try to frame your criticism in a constructive way.
Oh, that's a good point.
Instead of saying the acting was terrible, you could say, I felt like the actors weren't given much to work with.
That's much more diplomatic.
And it shows that you're, like, engaging with the film on a deeper level.
I like that. It's like you're having a conversation about the movie rather than just, like, giving it a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Precisely.
This is making me realize that talking about movies in English is about so much more than just, knowing the right words.
It is.
It's about being a good listener, being culturally sensitive, being able to express yourself thoughtfully.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I'm learning so much.
I'm glad to hear that. But we're not quite done yet.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. we've only just scratched the surface. In the final part of our deep dive, we're going to get into some practical exercises and real-world examples.
Okay, awesome. I can't wait.
Me neither. It's going to be good. So stay tuned.
All right, so my brain is like overflowing with all this amazing information.
I bet.
I feel like I've got all these new tools in my conversational toolbox,
That's great.
but I'm a little nervous to actually use them, you know?
That's understandable. It's
Yeah.
one thing to, talk about it,
Right,
but it's another thing to actually put it into practice.
exactly. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we actually get comfortable using all these tips and tricks in like real life conversations?
Well, practice makes perfect.
Okay.
And one thing you can do is create imaginary scenarios in your mind.
Imaginary scenarios. What do you mean?
Like, okay, imagine you're at a party
Okay.
and you strike up a conversation with someone
Hmm.
who mentions that they just saw the latest Marvel movie.
Ooh, okay. I like where this is going.
Right. And so now play out that conversation in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what questions would you ask them?
Okay.
How would you describe your own reaction to the movie?
Oh, that's good.
Like, would you recommend it? Would you not recommend it?
And what if they loved it, but I hated it?
Right. Exactly. So think about how you would handle those different situations.
Oh, I see. So it's like a mental rehearsal for those real life conversations.
Exactly. The more you practice these scenarios in your mind, the more prepared and confident you'll feel when you actually encounter them.
Okay, I can totally see how that would be helpful. It's like you're kind of pre-programming yourself.
Right. And you can do this with all sorts of situations. Imagine you're at a coffee shop with a friend talking about a documentary you both watched.
Okay.
Or you're at work having a lively debate with your colleagues about the merits of classic films versus modern blockbusters.
I'm already feeling more confident just thinking about it.
The possibilities are endless. The key is to just get those creative juices flowing and to really visualize those conversations.
Okay, that's amazing advice. But what if I'm in a real conversation and I just, like, totally blank? Like, what if my mind goes completely blank?
That happens. It happens to the best of us.
Okay, good, because I would be mortified.
Don't be, it's not about being perfect. It's about, being able to recover gracefully.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, remember those active listening skills we talked about earlier?
Oh, right.
Ask a question, paraphrase something the other person said.
Oh, so if I can't think of anything to say about the movie, I can just bounce it back to them and be like, so what did you think of the ending?
Exactly. Or even just acknowledge that you need a moment to gather your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, that ending really blew my mind. Just give me a sec to process it all.
Okay, that's great. It's like even if you stumble a bit, you can still keep the conversation going.
Exactly. And honestly, sometimes those moments where you have to kind of pause and think
Mm-hmm.
can actually lead to a more genuine connection with the other person.
And that's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it shows that you're really listening, that you're taking the time to process what they're saying.
That's cool. And I guess it also takes the pressure off a little bit to be like perfectly eloquent all the time.
For sure. I mean, and nobody's perfect. And conversations aren't scripted. They're supposed to be organic.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling more relaxed about this now. Like, it doesn't have to be this high-pressure situation.
Exactly. It should be fun.
Yes, fun. That's what I keep forgetting.
So, just embrace those moments, even the awkward ones, because they're all part of the learning experience.
I think I'm starting to get this. Like, it's not about being a film critic. It's about sharing my passion, connecting with people, and just enjoying the conversation.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Well, I'm glad I could nail it because I have to say this whole deep dive has been incredibly helpful. I feel so much more confident about talking about movies and TV shows in English.
That's wonderful to hear. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep those conversations flowing.
I definitely will. Thanks so much for all the amazing insights and advice.
You're very welcome. And to all of you listening out there, remember that the world of film and television is vast and incredibly enriching. Go out there, share your passion, connect with others, and let those conversations spark something truly special.
And most importantly, have fun.
Yes, always have fun.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.